Kia ora, welcome to Central News for Tuesday the 30th of September. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Hamilton Zoo's new zebra stallion is a friendly young gentleman with an inquisitive nature. Malawi, who's 2.5 years old, arrived from Canberra's National Zoo and Aquarium last week and has settled well to Hamilton Zoo's zebra herd after the trip across the Tasman Sea, accompanied by one of Hamilton Zoo's veterinarians. Samantha Kudewer, Hamilton Zoo curator, says the young male has so far proven to be very relaxed and an inquisitive guy who is not trying to push around anyone. Malawi was brought to Hamilton Zoo at the recommendation of the Regional Species Coordinator, with the intention that he will become the Hamilton Zoo herd's breeding stallion. Omokoroa is the first area in the Western Bay designated as a special housing area under the Housing Accord signed in August between the Western Bay of Plenty District Council and Central Government. The land being considered by Council lies between State Highway 2 and the railway adjoining the northern side of Omokoroa Road, with letters already sent to landowners inside and adjoining the proposed area. Under the Housing Accords and Special Housing Areas Act 2013, special housing areas can be established to provide for the fast tracking of new housing to the market. Under the Accord, Council has the power to streamline resource consent approvals, allowing consents to be processed faster than under the standard provisions of the Resource Management Act. Western Bay of Plenty District Council Resource Consent Manager Philip Mortello says Omokoroa is one of the district's growth areas in which Council has already invested substantial infrastructure to cater for a future population capacity of 12,000. Hamilton Arts offer will be extended when Waikato Museum opens the Barry Hopkins Gallery on the 17th of October. The new gallery has been funded by philanthropist and museum supporter Barry Hopkins in partnership with Hamilton City Council. Waikato Museum Director Sherry Meekham says the new gallery, developed in the former Canvas restaurant space, will feature a series of 6-week-long exhibitions curated by Waikato Museum, often in collaboration with the art collector himself. Now for our marine forecast, West Coast, Raglan, southerly 15 knots, high tide is at 3:48 p.m. East Coast, Bay of Plenty, southerly 20 knots and it mainly is fine out there. High tide is at 1:02 p.m. Just ahead on Central News, the sport of bodybuilding. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. The sport of bodybuilding can be a lonely one. A lifestyle choice that requires time, dedication, discipline and the right nutrition to build muscle and shape the body into a winning one. Hamilton personal trainer and bodybuilder Jess Coate loves the sport, and after her first competition in 2011, she has proved to be a force to be reckoned with. A diminutive powerhouse who is determined to go all the way, placed 3rd in the Arnold's in America earlier this year and is currently training for the Nationals in Auckland this weekend. She spoke with Anne-Marie and explained she's always loved health and fitness.
So I was brought up playing netball, touch and basketball, and that's what I was doing from the age of about 5. So health and fitness is just, second nature to me.
How did you get started into the sport of bodybuilding?
I started in bodybuilding when I injured my knee twice. I also did my ankle, so I thought it was about time to give up, and I took up the sport of bodybuilding.
How did you injure yourself?
I injured myself playing netball, so I did my knee twice and my ankle twice, just landing wrong with the ball. Terrible.
How many years have you been training and competing?
I've been competing for bodybuilding for about 3 years now. I've only been lifting weights for about 4 years, so I'm still semi-new to the whole weightlifting world.
What do you love about the sport?
I love the dedication and discipline that it brings into my life. It's totally changed me as a person, and I love that you will never have a perfect figure, so there's always something to work on, and that drives me harder every day.
You began in the shape category and last year made the move into the figure category. Why was that, and what's the difference?
So I started in figure for IFBB last year. I made the move from shape to figure purely because I had achieved all that I could in the other federation. So I competed in Germany at the Universe Champs and placed second. So the next best thing was to place first. And so I made the move into figure. The difference between shape and figure, shape's more, shapely, curvy. Figure's a bit of a harder look, and it's really about your symmetry and proportions. With shape, you have to do a routine, and with figure, you don't.
Tell me about your achievements so far.
So I started bodybuilding in about 2011, so 3 to 4 years now. My first shape competition, I entered in Wellington and I came first, and so that was very exciting for me. So I decided to take it to nationals 2 weeks later, where I won my first New Zealand championship in my first year of bodybuilding. So after that I got invited to the Universe Champs over in Germany, which I took up, which was the most amazing experience ever, and I placed second on the world stage. So that was, for me, that was the best moment of my life. When I made the decision to move from shape to figure, I won my first IFBB show in Waikato last year, and I went to the nationals for IFBB and placed second in New Zealand for my category. And from that I got invited to the Arnold Classics, which was amazing, over in America, Ohio.
You had amazing success at the Arnolds earlier this year. Tell me about that experience.
Well, I thought Germany was the best experience of my life, and until I went to the Arnolds, it was just crazy. It's just next level stuff over in America. It's just, everything is just huge. I got to see Arnold too. It was pretty exciting. So just to be on stage with the best figure athletes, best amateur athletes in the world was just amazing, and to come third, just, it's unbelievable.
What did you learn from the whole experience?
I think I learned a lot about my body when flying. So, it's a lot different to just competing here in New Zealand. You don't have to fly with all your water and your food and your water retention. So that was a big wake-up call, I suppose. And I also learned what kind of look I need for the international stage. It's quite a bit different here. The girls have a lot of size. So I was actually really surprised that I placed in the top 10, let alone top 5. Let alone top 3, so yeah, it was amazing.
You inspire a multitude of people, but who inspires you?
I don't have someone as such that inspires me, but my inspiration daily comes from my fans and followers online. Like, they're just amazing. The amount of emails and comments that I get every day, it pushes me to work harder and harder. But in terms of my physique, it's you versus you, I look back at my old pictures and my old photos and videos, and I just want to bring something better every time I step on the stage.
You've gathered an excellent support team around you. Tell me about those people.
Yeah, I have an amazing support team. My mum being number one. She flies over to watch my competitions from Brisbane. I've got some really great family and friends that support me, come walking with me, my workmates, and my nutritionist and all my sponsors. It's just, the sport's really hard on the mind and emotionally, physically, everything. So you really need an awesome support team, which I have, and I'm thankful for.
You're 10 days out from the Nationals in Auckland. What does a typical training day look like for you at the moment?
Typical training day, there's a lot at the moment. So I wake up at 4:45 a.m. and I'm straight on the treadmill, where I do about an hour before I come to work. I do my morning shift, and then I'll do my weights training, which takes about an hour. And at the moment I'm finishing that with another hour cardio. But it's hard, but it's part of the journey, and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
What's your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge, I think, just trying to fit everything into my day with my clients and my big training schedule. That's the biggest challenge.
How do you fit in the juggle with work, training, friends and family?
I'm really lucky because I subcontract from Les Mills Hamilton, so I work for myself, so that allows me to work my clients around my training schedule, which is really good, and I try and just leave the weekends for family and friends.
What's your ultimate goal in bodybuilding?
I want to be at the top, Miss Olympia. That would just be amazing to just be on that Olympia stage.
And after the Nationals, then what?
It depends what happens at Nationals. So the winner of the figure class overall will win the professional card, which means you'll become a professional bodybuilder, which means you can compete on the pro circuit overseas. So that would be the first step, and that's what I'm gunning for.
Jess, we wish you all the best from all the team at Central News.
You can follow Jess on her Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/Jess Coate and in capital letters, athlete. Still to come on Central News, your weather for tomorrow and progress on the Cambridge swimming pools. Welcome back to Central News. There have been some exciting community projects to come out of the Waipa District Council's 10-year plan.
Yeah, well, exciting's one way of putting it, I suppose, and certainly is more than a couple of years as well. My understanding is when the original 50-metre or Olympic-sized pool was constructed, there were plans at that stage back in 1972 to build a covered pool in Cambridge, and it's been on the books and off again since that time. But the most recent, as you say, was the last couple of years when there were plans drawn up for about a $14 million project which covered an indoor covered facility with hot water for therapeutic reasons, learn to swim, lane pool, so a full community facility. But that failed to achieve its funding targets because the council had set a target of raising a third from the community. And I suppose there was still a fairly large degree of negativity in the community about the possibility of losing the existing 50-metre pool, which is an icon in Cambridge. So that led to quite a lot of opposition to the project.
So where are we now?
Well, at the present time, Council made the commitment, if the funding wasn't achieved from the community, that they would actually go back and reconsult and try and work a way forward in terms of the options available to the Council. And we had a meeting just yesterday to discuss that, and a number of Cambridge residents and the swimming club and Masters Swimming were there to talk about what their preferences were, I suppose. And it's definitely to retain that 50-metre pool. Now, that's obviously going to create some challenges in that it's a major pool, and we need to try and provide a facility for 365 days a year rather than the 5 summer months. So I think there's a way forward where we've looked at ways of upgrading the 50-metre pool so that we can retain it and provide a covered facility, either incorporating that pool or alongside of it, so that we can have the best of both worlds, I suppose.
What will the new pool look like? Will it be heated and covered? Will it have a cafe and children's facilities?
Yeah, part of the discussion has got to tease out, I suppose, exactly what people want. But in terms of the intent is to make sure that there is a learn to swim facility, hydrotherapy, and a covered lane pool. Now, I suppose the issue really that we need to get some advice on is, can we actually cover the existing pool and heat it at 50 metres, or do we just build a smaller pool alongside and still only operate the 50-metre pool on a summer option, I suppose. It's quite interesting though that the recent survey that was done and report done by Sport Waikato in terms of facilities that are required have indicated that another 50-metre pool within the Waikato region would be a great facility to have. But nobody can afford really to build new ones of that size. So it's probably a real advantage to the region as well to maintain that 50-metre pool. And if we can keep it operational all year, that would be an advantage as well. But we need to look at those costs.
For more details, go to waipardc.gov.nz. David Nika has had an eventful year, winning gold at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Anne-Marie caught up with him at the end of a training session at Ringside Gym in Hamilton to find out how he's found the sudden glare of the public eye and how he got started in boxing.
So I was about 14 years old. I'd been through a whole lot of sports. I tried athletics, rugby, soccer, you name it, anything outside the water. But I decided I needed a change. I went through a big growth spurt. My joints were killing me, so I was a really good. I thought I was a really good runner, and then I got all these growth injuries, and so I started boxing when I was 14 years old, and I just got stuck in. I loved it. Yeah.
What do you love about the sport?
I think I love the challenge it brings to myself, and everybody else seems to get a buzz from it, so I just really enjoy making other people happy as well.
You had amazing success at the Glasgow Commonwealth Games this year. Tell me about that experience.
Well, I basically just went to Glasgow and did what I had to do, what I do best, and that's put on good performances consistently over a 10-day tournament, and it was a huge experience for me to be with the rest of the New Zealand team, and I just really enjoyed it. Couldn't ask for a better result.
How did you feel when you were standing on the podium?
You could probably answer that question yourself. I was really emotional. It was a lot of hard work had gone into the lead up to Glasgow 2014, and I think it was just the fact that all that work had kind of compiled into a few short moments on the podium, and that's when it hit me, and yeah, just a huge deal for me and my family.
You've been catapulted from relative obscurity into the public eye. How have you found that? How has it affected everyday life?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it, to be honest. It's been I've just kind of taken it in my stride, and just enjoyed the attention, and I'm just happy to be where I am today. I figured I'd be here sooner or later. You know, I've always strived to be the best at something, to be the best at what I do, and I think I'm just gonna go onwards and upwards from here.
You've become a role model pretty much overnight to a lot of kids who can relate to you because you're close in age to them. That's quite a responsibility for you, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I haven't made a whole lot of mistakes in my short life so far. You know, I've taken a lot of the right pathways. You know, I've found something I want to do and be good at it, and I think it's just a matter of carrying myself with a bit of dignity and just looking the part. And I think a lot of kids can jump on board and do the same thing. You know, I've only been boxing for 5 years. A lot of maybe your son's been playing rugby for 5 years already. So there's no reason why other kids can't do what I've done today.
You can follow David on Facebook. Just search David Nika. Just ahead, the new night shelter for Tauranga. Welcome back. The homeless people of Tauranga now have the choice of sleeping under shelter, thanks to the Tauranga Moana Night Shelter Trust and the vision they have worked on for many years.
This particular project began about 5 years ago, but I know even before that there's been a lot of discussion about the need and so on, but yeah, we got together and formed our reference group and then the trust 5 years ago.
There have been quite a few people involved too.
Oh yes, a lot, and I think part of the strength of it is that we have so many people involved who have a background, have an interest, have knowledge. Yeah, so that's government agencies, churches, community groups, and just people on the street. Yeah.
Andrew, after all those years, how does it feel to actually finally be here? Is there a sense of relief or a sense of excitement?
Oh, it feels good. It's appreciated by some of the boys already. You know, they're wanting to come back already, even though it's only been 1 day that they've been in here. So that's really good, you know.
And Mike, how do you feel when that ribbon was finally cut?
Yeah, just a great relief. And a sense of achievement, really, that we did it, and yeah, and the circumstances how it unfolded in the last 12 months have just been
so
remarkable, eh? Yeah. Just sweet, and it's had a great feel to the way it's come. You know, we haven't had to fight and battle and struggle. It's just unfolded beautifully. Mm.
But there is only one thing to go. The venue doesn't quite have a name yet.
Well, that's really difficult, because what do you call or name a night shelter? You know, for the name to mean what it's there for. You know, it'd be really hard just putting as the trust name as Tauranga Moana Night Shelter Trust. That we really need to put another name in front of that sort of a thing. Yeah.
But as Mayor Stewart said Mayor Crosby said at the opening the name will drop out. It'll come, and it'll come in a way that just we'll know that it's the right name.
Mike, can you talk us through what the facility is? I mean, what it provides and what it doesn't provide?
First and foremost, it's a place to provide shelter and a safe place for people to stay, to sleep, to use the facilities, have a shower, maybe have a meal, have some food, and that's its first and primary aim. But it's also more than that. It's the opportunity to move on with your life. If people want to make that choice, we have the staff here now who can help transition back into perhaps more independent living and what have you. But first and foremost, it's a shelter. Yeah.
So what doesn't it provide?
But we're not specialists in mental health, we're not specialists in addictions, we're not specialists in those kinds of areas. We'll take people who have those issues for sure, but you know, we're not a specialist facility. It's a shelter, you know, it's a place of refuge.
Registration for a good night's sleep at the shelter is from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Now for the weather for Wednesday, Hamilton fine with light winds. You've got an expected high of 18 and an overnight low of 4. The rest of the Waikato the same, fine with light winds. Paeroa 18 and 7 your expected overnight low. Matamata 16 and 6. Te Aomutu 18 and 4 and Tokoroa 16 and 3. Tauranga fine with the southerlies dying away. 18 is your expected high and 7 your expected overnight low. The rest of the Bay Plenty mainly fine, but rain at times about the eastern ranges. The southerlies are dying away. Te Puke, your expected high is 16 and an overnight low of 7. That is the program for today. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can via our Facebook page, centralnews.tv, or email us news@tvcentral.co.nz. Join me again tomorrow night for more stories from the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. I'm Hilary Entwistle. I hope you have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.